Hello everybody, welcome to the 2026 to 2027 NFL schedule predictions episode. Last year's episode had some good,
Cardinals come last in the league,
and some really bad takes.
Commanders win the NFC Championship.
But either way, hit that subscribe button and let's jump right into this one. Alright, without further ado, let's get right underway. Okay, as you all know, I'm a Panthers fan, so we'll get to them shortly. I've got a lot of NFC South viewers. However, let's start out with the 4th seed in the AFC East. I have the New York Jets, okay? I just feel like there's a lot of questions for this Jets team, okay? They haven't improved a whole bunch. I mean, especially having no interceptions after last season. I don't think everything is going to be fixed after one season. And honestly, my main question for the New York Jets this season is Geno Smith really your guy? Because, I mean, Geno Smith has not been the guy for a number of teams by now, and I mean everybody seems to kind of know sort of that, like, you know, he's not the guy that's going to lead you to a Super Bowl. So I feel like, you know, if they don't test Cade this season, I feel like there's no way they have any sort of success this season. That is my personal opinion. I honestly have no relations to New York at all, but if the Jets, you know, won a Super Bowl, that'd be awesome, honestly, because the Browns, go ahead, won a Super Bowl. But either way, I'm just saying, Cade Klubnik, I feel like you should give him a shot. And, I mean, there's just a lot of questions going into this year. Now, at that 3 spot, I had the Miami Dolphins. Okay, I mean, same thing. Literally the exact same thing. I mean, I feel like besides firing their head coach and, you know, a couple other coaches, I feel like, I mean, they just haven't improved very much. I mean, but my main, you know, question for them, though, is Malik Willis really your guy? I feel like, I mean, I'd almost rather play Quinn Ewers. I mean, I feel like I don't see Malik having as breakout of a season as some people seem to have him having. Okay, I mean, I feel like, you know, I mean, the front office seems to be thinking Malik Willis is going to go win a Super Bowl in his first year. That's just not going to happen, especially after you just fired your head coach and all these guys have to get used to a different scheme. I don't know what to think about this Dolphins team. They might go better than 3-14. They might go 6-11, but that's still not a good record, so I'm still basically correct. Now, at that 2 spot, the New England Patriots. Okay, they made the Super Bowl last season. The biggest question from everyone, though, was that season a fluke? Okay, and I think they prove everybody wrong. I think they prove absolutely everyone wrong, and I think they make it again, but I think they see early struggles in the first round, maybe make it to the second, but we'll see. And then at that 1 spot, I think I see the Buffalo Bills. Okay, they're just a proven winning team. I think Josh Allen gets it done yet again. And without further ado, AFC North fans, where are you at? Let's move on to the AFC North. All right, the AFC North, okay, at that 4th spot, I'm going to go and get right into this one. Similar to the Jets, the Browns are at that 4th spot with a 4-13 record. They just haven't improved very much this offseason. Okay, I mean, my main question is actually a good question. Okay, I mean, of course, Myles Garrett did just get traded away for Jared Verse. That's my main question. I mean, I feel like one positive to look at is the Browns' defense might be really stacked this season, but my question to the Browns is Shedeur really your guy? Or is Dylan Gabriel really your guy? Is this offense really going to do good this season? Maybe Shedeur is your guy, but I don't think there's as many key pieces on that offense as there needs to be. And I think that defense really needs to... I think that defense is actually going to be really good, but I feel like there's a lot of broken pieces. This might have more broken pieces than the Jets. Okay, I mean, that's saying something. I just think they might be 3 years away, but I think not this year at all. No way. But number 3 spot, Pittsburgh, 9-8. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, final season most likely, unless he, you know, unretires or something. But they barely missed the playoff. Okay, I mean, they in a really close race. This was the closest race in the entire NFL, actually, based on division, and they lost due to division record. Okay, I mean, they lost due to division record, and they just couldn't make it to that 2nd spot. I mean, I don't think they had a bad year, but I think it's going to be tough, especially after just firing your head coach who's been there for like who knows how long. Okay, I mean, Mike Tomlin, he's been your head coach for so long. I mean, most of the time firing a head coach that's been there for so long. You know what, let's bring this to the ball knowledge knowers in the NBA standpoint. Greg Popovich, when he got fired, they brought in Mitch Johnson 3 games into the season last year, and then Mitch Johnson doesn't do great in his first season, but then the second season they go out there and do phenomenal things. Maybe Pittsburgh has a similar way. Okay, this season they don't do the best. They miss the playoffs at a 9-8 record. That's not the worst, but it's not the best. And then the next season they go and win the Super Bowl. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Okay, they even go 3 seed, they go 9-8, whatever. 2 spots, Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think once again they have the worst season. It's a close race. I think the Bengals injuries finally subside and the Bengals make the playoffs with Joe Burrow. But is it enough to win it all? Probably not. I don't think so. Now, at that one spot, the Ravens. Okay, I do want to point something out. I don't want to spoil anything yet, but I do think that this is the year, and I think this is upcoming, where everybody's going to start hating the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bengals yet again. Okay, I think the Chiefs are about to get hated again, and especially the Ravens. Okay, the Ravens had a fluke season last year. Not in good ways. I'm talking about in bad ways. I think they could have been really good if it wasn't due to injuries. But I think they'll win the division and make the 3 seed in the playoffs. Easily win the division at 11-6 record. And now let's go ahead and straight move on to the AFC South. Alright, AFC South fans, where you at? Drop your favorite team in the comments down below. But either way, let's get right underway. The 4th spot, Indianapolis Colts. Okay, just to put this out there before we even get started, this was easily the worst division in the entire NFL on my entire list. Okay, the Colts... we're not the only 7-10 team. I'll just go and throw that out there. But the Colts went 7-10. Okay, 7-10. No, 7-10. Sorry, excuse me. I'm talking really fast right now. But the Colts, they just had a good start last season. I mean, I think they've got a good quarterback. They've got a solid foundation. I just think they're a couple steps away still. I think same with the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans. I'll go and reveal both of those. All three went 7-10. And I think they both just. All three of them are just like, one step away from winning the division, but also they just have a lot to work on this season. By the way, Texans fans, here you go. I know you were waiting for your moment to shine. I was just skipping. So, and everyone saw that it was a 7-10 record. I just think all three of these guys are going to have inconsistent teams this season. And then winning the division, the Jacksonville Jaguars at a 9-8 record. I know it's crazy. Jaguars, whatever. Hate me in the comments. I know. But I just think... and this is one of my hot takes of this, actually. Of course, I didn't go 7-10 a 4th time, whatever. But I think Jacksonville's biggest question for me is this. With all these stars, will they be able to replicate another season like this? Because they've got a lot of talent. Or will they kind of have as you see a Panthers fan here, will they have kind of like a Rico Dowdle end of the year type season where they start off really hot, but then at the end of the year they get cocky and want the ball? I can't really guarantee anything, but I think that might be what's the case here. I hope not, for the sake of Jaguars fans, because they've been through a lot, same with us, but you can't guarantee much. Now, let's move on to the AFC West. The AFC West, I talked about the Chiefs earlier on, but we'll get to the number 1 spot in just a moment here. At that 4th spot, I think the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, this division is actually one of, if not the best, in total divisional record. Actually, they are the best. But my main thing for the Chargers is this game. They just have had a lot of talent for years, but I still think they just have not been able to game plan correctly with that talent. And I don't think anybody on that team is a bad player. I still believe Justin Herbert could go out there and win a Super Bowl. I still think, as a Tar Heels fan based in North Carolina, I think Omarion Hampton could go and win a Super Bowl and be the number 1 running back on that Chargers team. But I just think they've got a good defense. They got a good offense. They just need to replicate the game plan each week. That is my main thing. I just think you need to give Harbaugh a couple more seasons. Also, that's my main thing. I think you needed to give Harbaugh a couple more seasons to really get, in the flow of the NFL again, as he did just win a national championship in Michigan, of course. And then, number 3, the Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, I want to talk about the Raiders for a second because Tom Brady absolutely changed the culture of this team. Okay, they definitely won't make the playoffs at a 9-8 record, but that is an absolutely incredible record, considering that they have the best QB in this past draft class, the best running back in the draft class before that, and then the best tight end in the draft class 3 years ago, maybe 4. I can't even remember when Brock Bowers was there. But either way, 3 of the best offensive players coming up in the entire NFL. What do you expect from them? I expect this division to be so good that they cannot win it, but I expect a 9-8 record at the very least. Okay, this team is about to be leading the NFL for many years to come, and I really do believe, Raiders fans, any Raiders fans watching this video, get your hopes high. Okay, I get it seems stupid, but get your hopes high. I'm asking you to get your hopes high because this team is going to be insane for the next coming years. And on top of that, they've got a really coach, like a really good coach now too. Goodness gracious, guys, I should just start talking slower. Sadly, Raiders fans, you will have to wait one more year for a postseason, but I do think that you guys will probably be a top NFL team in the entire NFL within the next couple years. So just be patient. Listen, I've had to go through it myself as a Panthers fan. Just be patient. You'll get there eventually. Then at that 2 spot, the Denver Broncos, I think they make it to the playoffs again. I mean, that's all I can really say beside it, because I have a feeling that past season may have been a bit of a lucky year. I mean, I think that's another one of my hot takes in this whole video. I mean, I think that, it wasn't actually a lucky year. I mean, I think they were a really good team last year, and I'm not, once again, Broncos fans, don't hate me because I'm not saying that it was. I'm just saying their schedule was not a, top schedule. It's kind of similar to the Patriots, as in, they are really good and they are going to prove everybody wrong again 2 years in a row, but they're not going, 13-4 this season. I think their schedule's just a little bit too difficult, I think. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit too much of a take, but I don't know. I think that's probably about where they should be placed. And that one spot, I said it earlier, and I'll say it again, the Chiefs are about to be hated again. 13-4 record. Holy moly. Unless Patrick Mahomes gets an ACL tear week 1, I don't see how they don't make the AFC Championship. And that hurts for me to say, but I think they might win another Super Bowl, and I'm just saying, they haven't only improved, they have really improved on all aspects, and they didn't even really need to improve. Last year, they genuinely lost due to schedule and due to just genuine, honestly, every other team was just a little bit better than them 90% of the time. And also injuries. Injuries is another factor in that. But yes, the Chiefs are about to be hated again. But either way, now let's move straight on to the NFC, starting off with the NFC East. The NFC East, where are you at? Okay, so at that number 4 spot, the NFC, by the way, I didn't even mention this, the Chiefs are not my best record team in the entire NFL. I'll get to that in a minute. Just you'll have to watch the rest of the video to see. It's the last team that I even have on this entire divisional record in the NFC West, actually, so you guys will just have to wait and see. So NFC West fans, get a little antsy, okay? Just give me some time here. Either way, NFC East, let's start with the 4th spot, the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys came in, not a bad year, but definitely not what America's team wanted. I mean, I'm sure everyone who is an American will be extremely sad that they missed the playoffs yet again. But either way, the Cowboys go 8-9. I just think that they have enough talent on the defensive side of the ball, but I just think, I think they have too much talent on the offensive side of the ball. That sounds stupid, but I think their O-line, they are going to be a problem this year, but then at the same time, the rest of their entire offense is actually really good. I think they are going to get injured from actually playing too hard because of how good they are, okay? I mean, and then at the same time, and I do think they have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball, but they also don't really have a linebacker after that Micah Parsons trade, or they don't have an edge rush or whatever. They don't have much talent on that, inside defensive, stack plays that they need to anymore because of that Micah Parsons trade. But otherwise, it's not. I guess it's not a bad year, but at the same time, when you're a Cowboys fan, it kind of is, because you go 8-9 every year. But either way, let's go ahead and move on to the Giants, who go 9-8, because, listen, it's not because you're not going to be good, okay? They have easily, okay? I hate New York because, North Carolina, whatever, but they have easily the best quarterback, running back duo in the entire NFL. Okay, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo. I don't even know if I spelled that right. I probably didn't. Just ignore it. But either way, they have the best quarterback, running back duo in the entire NFL. And now they have Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, listen, Odell Beckham Jr. is not going to be prime Odell Beckham Jr. But listen, imagine you are going back to the team who you won a Super Bowl with and drafted you back in, the good old days when you're in your late 30s, okay? I would have a little bit of, ants in my pants and wanting to really hype up this squad, especially when you're a vet player coming into your former team. I mean, this is a really big situation for Odell Beckham Jr. because he really might have a really stinking good year, especially considering that he's going back to his former team with a chance to win a Super Bowl as long as nobody gets hurt. Because honestly, this team could be really good, but that's where I think the problem is. I think this team has already shown me a lot of problems on the injury side of the ball, if that makes absolutely any sense. I should have just said I think they get a lot of injuries, but I think they get really injury prone around, midway through the season. If Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo and, maybe let's specifically say the Giants offensive line can stay healthy, I think as long as they stay healthy, this team could go 11-6. And that is a crazy stretch, whatever, flame me in the comments for it, but I do believe so. However, I think in my personal predictions, I just think they weren't good enough in some of the games they needed. Similar to the Raiders, this team is going to be really good for really long, okay? But I just think they barely missed out this season. Not that 2 spot, the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? I know everybody's looking at me, like Commanders as my 1 seed. Yes it is. It's probably my biggest hot take of this entire episode, so stay tuned for that. But I don't really think I need to talk about the Eagles. I mean, they go 10-7, make the playoffs, but just barely lose the division because of some key games earlier on in the season. I mean, I think they just, lose some earlier on games, and then they go red hot right before the playoffs and maybe even make a run. But either way, I mean, I think as an Eagles fan, would you be mad about 10-7? Not really. I mean, 10-7... We've seen 10-7 in Philly before, and they, do really good in the playoffs at 10-7. I mean, as long as you make the playoffs as an Eagles fan, I would not be very mad about it. Anyways, yes, the Washington Commanders at that spot. Okay, shout out Andrew Fenichel. He was on my podcast a while back. You are going to absolutely love this, Andrew, because Commanders go 11-6, okay? They had tons of injuries last season, and I actually had them going 11-6 last season, and I'm not changing anything because I just think this is a breakthrough season for year 3 Jaden Daniels. I just think, they had a pretty good draft. I mean, they had a good this, they had a good that, and I think they are going to have a really good stinking season, but they just need to execute like they did in his rookie year. If they can do that, I mean, like, Andrew Fenichel is about to be real happy because they're making an 11-6 season back in the playoffs again. Okay, listen, you're welcome for the shout-out, whatever. Go hit that sub button on Andrew's channel. Anyways, now let's move on to the NFC North. All right, the NFC North, I've got a lot of NFC North fans actually on my Instagram page, so I might be posting some shorts about this. However, at that 4th spot, I have the Vikings, okay? I'm sorry. Just listen. I mean, I don't think Kyler Murray's your guy, and I don't think 9 is your guy either, okay? I mean, I think he's actually lucky to be in the NFL. I think I'm one of those people who actually think he had a fluke national championship at Michigan. And honestly, I don't really have much to say. I just think there's a lot of holes. So let's just go and move straight on to the number 3 spot where the Lions go 10-7. Okay, Lions go 10-7. Lions barely miss the playoffs as the Packers just barely make it to division record. Okay, I just think Jared Goff. Jared Goff is just a little out of his due date by now. I mean, I think Jared Goff, his due date was, a couple years ago when they made the playoffs and, made it to the NFC Championship against the Commanders. Wait, no, they did not. No, sorry, excuse me, the Commanders. It was in the second round, divisional round, sorry. Corrections, whatever. But yes, so I do believe that it's going to be a tight race between the Bears, Lions, and Packers, like always. I mean, the Vikings have not been in this race for a couple years now, but I do believe that the Lions are going to be a pretty stacked team, but I just think this division is going to be so good. I don't think much people are going to be able to beat this division. Anyways, let's go and move on to that 2 spot where I have the Green Bay Packers at that 2 spot. Okay, I think this might be my most realistic scenario on this entire list because, hey, what do you know? Green Bay at that 7 seed. Okay, 10-7 record, another 7 seed spot in the playoffs. Once again, this is probably the most realistic spot in this entire video. And Jordan Love barely gets it done for the Packers again, barely gets it done in front of that Detroit Lions team. So yet again, Green Bay gets it done. Now, that number 1 spot, the Chicago Bears, yet again, they go 12-5. Okay, we will see later on in this episode how they do in the playoffs, but for now, you can hit that subscribe button. But I just truly think that Chicago has a very great and honestly outstanding offensive and defensive side of the ball, but I just think they haven't proven too terribly much to me in the playoffs yet. Okay, I get that sounds, crazy. Like I said, I've got a lot of especially Bears and Packers fans in the Instagram part. So, if I do post this part of the video, then sorry. But, I just don't think they have. I don't think there's been much proven to me personally that really pops out to me, especially that says, okay, this team is going daggone 17-0. No, they're not, and I don't even know if they're going to win the first round. I just feel like they're so young that they have, I think, one more year after this one, then they might actually make the Super Bowl. Also, Caleb Williams is the Madden cover. He just got cursed this season, so they might not even go 12-5. I made these predictions before he got in the Madden cover, okay? So, maybe they go 0-17, and then I'm wrong, okay? But either way, let's move straight on to the one that I have the most viewers of all about, because this is a Charlotte Sports Podcast fun fact, the NFC South. Oh, baby, what a doozy. Okay, so the NFC South, I am very excited for this one because I know there's going to be a lot of mad Saints, Bucks, and Falcons fans. Okay, before I even start the NFC South segment, just know that I am genuinely trying my very hardest to be as non-biased as possible, and I have valid reasons on why the Panthers may or may not have won the division yet again. But at that 4th spot, I have the Buccaneers at going 5-12. Okay, listen, I understand I'm a Panthers fan, and yet again, I'm trying to not be as delusional and, biased as possible, but listen, legitimately all the Bucks did last season was sign our offensive linemen, like 3 of them, and then get rid of Mike Evans, okay? I don't think they have anything to live for this season. I think all they have to live for this season is really Baker's contract. They really genuinely have nothing to live for this season. I don't even think they disagree with the fact. I think Buccaneers fans probably don't even disagree with the fact that they're probably not going to have that great of a season, and I do not know if they're going full rebuild mode or what, but I don't think, even the rookies that they signed, they may have not been the worst, but at the same time, they're not just going to lead you to a Super Bowl first season. Okay, you got rid of Mike Evans. I don't care what wide receiver you draft or what linebacker you draft in the first season, whatever it is. I don't care who you sign in the first round of the draft, or the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. You are not going to go more than, a 7-win season after getting rid of, your entire team, after just having a pretty decent, 6-year span after Tom Brady retires from the Bucks. Okay, and so at that 3 spot, let's go and move on to the Atlanta Falcons. My biased self, I love in saying that the Falcons will not do good this season, but also I am completely fair to every NFL team on here when I was choosing these wins and losses. And actually, fun fact, I didn't, actually just type in numbers. I chose every single game one by one, so I am, really being fair for this. But Michael Penix Jr. is just not leading you guys to a good season. I think Falcons fans, we just need to have a little bit of a talk, okay, in saying that Michael Penix Jr. is not the guy, okay? Michael Penix Jr. is not the guy, okay? I just think Michael Penix Jr. is too... So I'm actually searching up the Falcons roster real quick. Yeah, all you guys have is Tua Tagovailoa and Michael Penix. Okay, both guys, I forgot about Tua, I'm not even gonna lie, that's why I was searching it up. But, Michael Penix, most injury-prone man on planet Earth, and he is not even done good when he's out there. And then Tua Tagovailoa, basically the same thing, but instead of his knee, it's his head. Okay, y'all need a quarterback. I don't even think y'all are that far away from actually winning the South. I'll even put it out there. I don't think you guys are that far away from winning the South. I just think you guys need to genuinely fix your secondary and then genuinely fix your offensive line, and then genuinely get a quarterback. I mean, draft a quarterback, dagnabbit. Michael Penix is not got. Anyways, let's just move on before I get too mad. Number 2 spot, the Saints. Okay, this is where everyone's gonna get all antsy and say, Ethan, you like the Panthers too much. What's going on here? No. Okay, Saints fans, let's have a genuine talk. Calm down. I know we're rivals. Whatever. Let's have a genuine talk. Listen, last season, incredible for you guys. Okay, I as a Panthers fan, I sadly have to agree to you Saints fans that I actually believe that y'all have a great quarterback in Tyler Shuck. However, I just believe there's too much to work on. Okay, I just believe that there's still a lot missing. I do not think that 9-8 is bad by any means, but I also think that you guys can be very happy with this, and I think, you guys could finish a 9-8 season even if you miss the playoffs by 1 game, by the way, and I'll reveal that in a second. And I think you could, say that we had a good season. Okay, I mean, we split the season, by the way, in my record predictions if you look at the actual schedule. But I mean, even if it means you barely missed the playoffs to the Carolina Panthers, a 9-8 season, Saints fans, are you serious? If I was a Saints fan, sorry, I almost threw up. I would be thrilled at that. Okay, but either way, Panthers win the division yet again, 10-7 record. I know people are going to be biased, but guys, it's not 12-5 like some people are saying. I mean, I saw some actual NFL analysts predicting us to go 12-5 this season. Listen, I would cry tears of joy on camera for an hour straight if we went 12-5, okay? We still win the South, and I still see lots of improvements from Panthers fan to Panthers fan, especially with the schedule we have. But let's put it this way so we can finish the South off. We had an A+ offseason, according to CBS Sports. We had an A+ draft, according to CBS Sports. And we have gotten 2 outstanding players named Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd that just fixed our entire defense. Okay, our only thing, literally, if you look at our entire roster from top to bottom, everything is perfect. Honestly, like everything is genuinely perfectly fine except for safety and tight end. If we can somehow get a solid safety and then maybe pick up like a genuine, like maybe even like a bad but also kind of good tight end, I don't know, to back up Tommy Tremble, then I don't know how the Panthers don't do good this season. But either way, I mean, let's break through once again. I think the Panthers finally break through yet again. I think the Panthers make a second straight playoff spot and make everyone who is a Panthers fan happy. Anyways, let's move on to the last segment of this entire episode, the NFC West. Alright, you all, the NFC West, this is honest to goodness gracious the one that I'm most excited about, K, because honestly, I told you guys what I had earlier on, K, the Chiefs, they went 13-4, but I said somebody in the NFC West went 14-3, K, I'm not even going to reveal who it is, let's just start off at that 4-seed spot, the Cardinals, K. Cardinals fans, I actually truly believe that you guys could have went 7-10, 5-12, or even 6-11, but then the NFL schedule got released, and you guys got matched up with the toughest schedule in the entire NFL, and sadly, I just cannot look at your roster and say, okay, the toughest schedule in the NFL alongside a Cardinals roster is, going to go any more than, maybe 3 or 4 wins. It's just unlucky, but I just do not think, this team has a good enough team to, I don't really know how to put it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, Cardinals fans. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You guys basically don't even have a QB anymore. I mean, you kind of do. I mean, it's just everything's kind of missing, but at the same time, give it 3 to 5 years, I think y'all will be pretty much set for success. Anyways, 3rd seed spot, San Francisco 49ers, 8-9 seed. 49ers fans are in a tough situation because I do really believe that there's a chance they have an oddly good season. However, the Rams and Seahawks are just too good to make me believe that the San Francisco 49ers or the Arizona Cardinals make it any further than 3 seed. I believe that the 49ers go 8-9 again because of how good the Seahawks and Rams are. I think this season could have been a breakthrough season yet again for the 49ers, but just let's be real here, 49ers fans. Rams and Seahawks, you got to go into dominate the division. I think my next team is going to reveal who the 14-3 team is. Actually, I think I might have them 13-4 as well. I don't even remember what I put them as. Anyways, 12-5 Seattle Seahawks. Listen, if Seattle can go 12-5 and still be a 2 seed in the division, the Rams must be pretty, dear. But for Seattle, they have another really good season. But will they be good enough in the playoffs if they don't have a bye to make another Super Bowl? Okay, that's kind of, my question for this. It's just kind of like, who knows? We'll see when the time comes. Then, 13-4. I guess I did tie them with the Chiefs. I was going to do 14-3, though. It was because of the last matchup of the season against the Seahawks. However, I cannot express it enough that the Rams could go 15-2 this season. Okay, I have them 13-4, and I almost put them 14-3. They could go 17-0. Okay, they are going to take their baseball bat. This is a pen, but this is a baseball bat right there. They're going to take their baseball bat, and they are going to absolutely smack everybody out of the park. Okay, no one is ready for the Matthew Stafford, former MVP and now Myles Garrett, former Defensive Player of the Year, to dominate this division, but not only this division, the entire NFL. Okay, the Rams defense didn't need anything else. They didn't need anything else, but now without Jared Verse, they go and get a Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, this is a team, and actually, I shouted out Andrew Fenechel earlier, but I actually commented on one of his videos the other day, and it was actually the top comment of the entire video. And there's a reason why I've even bringing this up, is because I wanted to read you guys the comment. I said that I really believe, Andrew, that this was 100% a sign from the Rams that not only is Matthew Stafford retiring after this season, but that they want to win one last ring before he does go. This was a trade that they said, let's go and win a bowl, boys, right after it, okay? Because this was a trade that they didn't have to make. That they could have easily made any other trade in the world to get that position, but no, they decided to get the former Defensive Player of the Year by trading a first and a second for daggone, Myles Garrett, who is a former Defensive Player of the Year. So now we have, a win now mode team who also has the Defensive Player of the Year, offensive Player of the Year was Jackson Smith-Njigba, but Matthew Stafford MVP, who also already has a ring. But either way, we will talk about that more when we jump in to the playoffs right here. But before that, hit that subscribe button so you can see more of this video. Alright guys, it is playoff time. Playoff time. Who is going to win the Vince Lombardi trophy that is sitting right to my left? Okay, of course I've moved from the top left of the screen to the bottom right. Don't ask questions. It is because, as you can see, I had to. You wouldn't have been able to see the conference championship matchups. But either way, first round, let's start off with a banger. The AFC side, the Raiders barely squeak into the playoffs and lose to the Bills in the first round. The Broncos and Ravens, the Ravens probably squeak by very, in a probably close matchup, but at the same time, it could be a blowout. It just kind of depends on how good the Broncos are this season. I can't guarantee anything. Then the Patriots and Jaguars, that is my only matchup where I think the lower seed wins. Same with the NFC side. I actually think the 5 seed is the only matchup that does win. It is against the 4 seed Panthers. Sadly, I do think the Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl, but that is my biased self, and I said I'm not being biased this episode, so yes, the Panthers lose in the first round, whatever. The Commanders, they win. I think they, whatever, Andrew Fenechel, haha. But Bears also move on in a Packers-Bears matchup again. Okay, that would be absolute cinema. Then we move on to divisional playoffs. 1 seed and a 2 seed, both move on in both rounds. Okay, I get that. Has not happened in a long time, but I do believe that the Commanders and Seahawks both get eliminated. I think the Seahawks are just not going to be able to beat this unstoppable Rams team they did last season. I don't see it this season. And then the Chiefs and Bills, they're just also unstoppable. However, I do see the Ravens having a really stinking good shot at beating the Bills, but I do not believe that they get it done. I think something happens late in the game that just makes it a Bills game, and I just think that it is a Bills and Chiefs rematch that has not happened in a long time, and the Chiefs and the Bills both move on. Well, they both move on to the conference championships, and so do the Bears and the Rams. And as you can see, this is crazy. Okay, everyone's kind of probably going to be calling me crazy in the comments as well, but both the Chiefs and the Rams are 1 seeds. Both went 13-4, and both the Chiefs and the Rams are going to this year's Super Bowl. Okay, this would be absolute cinema. This game would be absolute cinema, okay? The Chiefs would come into this Super Bowl looking for a revenge story from not only the past season and all the NFL fans' comments from past season, but also Patrick Mahomes looking for another ring, and Travis Kelce possibly looking at his last chance to get a ring, especially considering that, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, he's kind of already, hinted at a possible retirement after this season. And then on the other hand, the Rams would have Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett, who has not won a ring, and Matthew Stafford looking to possibly officially cement his Hall of Fame status into Canton, Ohio, possibly becoming a memorable name for years to come. However, all of this video comes down to this moment. We have been waiting for this for so long. Can I please get a drum roll from the back? I'm going for way too long. The Los Angeles Rams are too unstoppable. Okay, some of my friends may call me biased for this because I may be a little bit of a Matthew Stafford biased person. However, okay, I do love Matthew Stafford and all, but I think everybody can agree. I didn't even think the Rams had a shot until they just traded for Myles Garrett. I get I'm really, hyping up this Rams team a lot, but this Rams team might actually just be dominant for a lot of years to come. Okay, even with a backup quarterback named Ty Simpson, okay, that they just drafted for in the first round, I think maybe after this season, especially if he gets a ring without even playing, he's gonna feel what it feels like, even if he didn't get to play, and he's gonna be like, okay, well, now that I know what it feels like, I'm gonna go up there and try to win a ring myself. Okay, he's going to want to win a ring himself, especially with the surrounding cast supporting him that he has around him. Okay, and so Rams fans, congratulations, you're winning this year's Super Bowl 26-27. But without further ado, that is going to do it for this episode 26-27 NFL predictions. Thank you all for watching. Drop your favorite teams and your reactions down below. Did you like any of my takes? What do you think? Drop it all down below in the comments sections and hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me, trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, even though, that's probably, a little bit unrealistic. Actually, it's really not. That's actually not even that bad. Honestly, I could be saying 1 million subscribers by the end of this year, and I'm only at 200. So either way, hit that sub button, drop your comments down below, and thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye!